Hey, all right. Before I continue, there's one more thing I want to show you too, and that's a second way to skin the cat. All right, so what did we do in the first way to skin the cat? We downloaded our zip file so we could extract it to a folder of its own naming so that we could go inside of it and get into our user files, get into our banner, get into our images, get into our banners, and then what? Create some banners of our own and upload them with whatever names we wanted so that we can add those names for those banners that we want to cycle between to our feed file or our var sheet backup, right? The var sheet that you're going to upload into the system, right? To create all your pages with all those images, right? Now, that's awesome. What's a second way to do it? Just so you know, and that way you can't say, Dave, why didn't you just tell me that there's this other way to do it? Because it's easier. Might be. All right, here would be the other way to do it. You would do whatever you want in here, okay? Maybe you create a new theme or not, but you're going to go in and you're going to go to your global settings, say, maybe your theme settings where all your banners are. Come down to the banners, and you're going to start, you're just going to say, I'm going to straight upload a whole lot of banner images right now. I'm just going to put them in here, okay? So say you created your banner images and you gave them the names you wanted, then you dragged and dropped them in here and it just populates it, right? And again, do not worry about this thing about the demo version. This is ours. We just wind up wrapping it in. There's nowhere you need to go for a license. All right, so what's the point? The point is you added all your images in here. Now you're going to leave this the same because you still want it to read from your Excel file, right? So each of the banner images should be banner 1, banner 2, banner 3, right? So that they correspond exactly with your var sheet. Banner 1, banner 2, and banner 3 columns, okay? So that page by page, it'll be showing from, banner 1 to banner 2 to banner 3. They're there. Yeah. Banner 1, banner 2, and banner 3, right? That's where you're going to decide what images you're allowing it to cycle between. It's just whichever ones you want. It doesn't have to be all the images at all, right? So whatever images you put in here, that's just like your repository of images to pull from. But whatever images you have in here do not get to show up on your website unless you're specifying them in your list. And so they have their right to show up on their related pages. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's your file here that controls which of your available images get to show up. If you only wanted to use the first image, second image, third image, and none of the rest of them at all, then you could do that. And it would always be those same images over and over again, just those 3. So even though we have like a lot more than 3 in here, we have 25, only those 3 get to show up because it's all you specified. Okay, I think that makes sense. Now, having said that, and that means you can upload all your images to all the websites, so you can mix and match across them all if you want. It just simplifies your work. So anyway, let's say you got this thing just the way you wanted it. So what makes that easier? I'll tell you. Now that this website is in your website list, let me just double check that this one is in mine. It is. Okay, that's mine. It is. Now what does that mean? It means I can create the portable panel. Okay, so see what I did? Installation options, create a portable panel. Ooh, that's neat. What's a portable panel? I'll tell you. It is where you download the version you made, and if it was on a subdomain, then you would choose, but it won't be on a subdomain. It'll be on the root of your website, right? Because it's the only way the sitemap can engage is if the project's on the root. Okay, and the connection file name is always that, so don't worry about it. All I did was select the website I want to download. It's going to download where? Into my repository, into my destination directory, and into wherever it is that I wanted to put it. So if I want to put it in the same place as my other ones, fine. I created those folders earlier when I was in the file repository for my own purposes. So I can download right into that folder. If there is a subfolder, then fine. I'll give you an example. Let's say I went to, what's it called? Banner and blocks. Okay. Now it's showing the directory as this, but I want to go even further. So I'm going to make that happen. Take a look. I want it to go into banner, say, right? So when I was in the file repository, I created those folders and subfolders. I created a folder, went inside of it, created a subfolder, came up one level, and then created the other subfolder, right? And that's exactly what you can do here. So you can come up with these and then decide where you want to download them to. What's the point? Just simply having organization. If I right click and open link in a new tab, okay, that's my repository. That's just so I know where to find things without them all being in one place. Because what happens if you have like tons and tons of files and you just have them all in one place? Isn't that really difficult to keep track of? Yeah, definitely. So this is why we like to create folders, just for pure organization. Okay. Having said that, go ahead and do it. So you've got the folder you wanted. Let's just say I put it right here. Okay. I don't even choose a subfolder. So I'm going to create it now. It's saying create a backup. What it really means is create a copy of the website that you can install anywhere you want. Guess what I'm creating? I am creating, oh yeah, it can't show me until it's done with the process. That's right. It can only do one thing at a time. I am creating a zip file and a SQL file from that website. And by creating that, I can now manipulate that zip file and that SQL file if I want. There we go. Boom. Okay. And so there it is. It landed here. Now, what might I call it? I can rename these things. Okay. It's a SQL file, so don't lose the .sql, but you can rename the rest. You can call it something like GDR Bob, you know, because maybe you're doing this project for Bob who does GDR, you know, or MLM or anything else. It doesn't matter. So let me rename the other one. And I just want them to go together. I want to make sure that I don't mix these up with other projects. So I give them the same name for the SQL and the zip, right? If it's gdr-bob.sql, it's going to be gdr-bob.zip, right? Save, you know. There. See how cool that is? So now I know that's the version of my WI Blitz 5 after I dragged and dropped all the GDR images into it that I want. So now if I wanted to do bulk installation, I could install this to my 25 websites. So that's pretty much the same concept. You know, going into here and creating a bunch of new images inside the panel and then downloading it by creating a portable panel, giving it a name you want. That's pretty much the same concept as what I did before, right? Where I downloaded the zip file, extracted it, went into it, dealt with the images here in the user files, dragged and dropped my GDR images in here. And then what? Then came back up and out, right? So that I could select all, you know, WinZip with a name. And then that way I could use that and upload that back. Whoops. I'm going to upload that back to overwrite the old one. Okay. So then the only real difference there is that I didn't need to overwrite anything. I just created a separate instance. By the way, how do you just do the separate instance thing locally? Well, it's pretty simple. Like when I uploaded, did I have to make that zip file have the exact same name? Nah, I could have called this GDR-Bob, right? Rename, right? GDR-Bob. I might, and so now I got my GDR-Bob, okay? Kind of get it out of all this other stuff because none of the other stuff needs to be there. Close that. Whoop. And then the other thing I had for that was what? Whoops. Oh yeah, the SQL file, right? I want to make a copy of that SQL file, don't I? Well, this is how I would do it. I take the SQL file that exists and download it. And if it's going to be the same SQL file, then I can call that GDR-Bob. Now, I've got a GDR-Bob zip and a GDR-Bob.sql, don't I? So I could just upload those. right? Go right in your file repository, choose some place where you want to upload them to, okay? So like if I were to delete these, right? I'm just hitting spacebar every time, okay? Then I would choose my GDR files from my desktop, right? Because that's what I created. And I uploaded them, right? And so now you get the idea. The idea is you can do it, and you could upload them one at a time if they don't work together. I forget. Anyway, there you go. That's two different ways of accomplishing the same goal. But one of the coolest things about doing the download off of here by creating the portable panel is it really does create a backup in the process of the whole thing, right? That is a backup of your entire website. So whatever changes you made to make that website the way you wanted, then when you go in here and you do this bit with creating a portable panel, it will create a full backup of that site. That whole site right now just became backed up with all the images it has in the background, with all the verbiage and everything else. Everything is backed up. Okay, hope you found that interesting, and we'll continue to the next topic.